another video on Google Dataflow. So in this video we will see a concept called how we can develop iterative Dataflow pipelines using Apache Beam notebooks. Okay, so Apache Beam notebooks are usually available or made available through Vertex AI workbench. Okay, this is a product and it's a user managed notebooks environment where it will host VM notebooks which are also pre-installed with machine learning and data science libraries. This is one of the cool feature and greatest advantage we have when we use Apache Beam notebooks. Okay, so Apache Beam, if you use Apache Beam notebook, it is coming with interactive runner, right? And it's a Jupyter lab notebooks environment, and where it will allow us to run our or develop our pipelines in iterative manner. Usually you will write a piece of code which belongs to that pipeline and you will test it immediately, and you will add one more piece of code and again you will test it. Once you see your expected output, you will repeat this process until you complete that pipeline development. This is a greatest advantage we have when we use Apache Beam notebooks, right? And one more advantage, you can also visualize the data, intermediate outputs, right? And also you can print them, right? Since it is a notebook interactive in nature, you can do all the steps, right? So, and also in case of traditional methods or conventional methods, right, where if you have to develop Apache Beam pipeline, either you will use Cloud Shell for development or else third-party editors like PyCharm and other editors, right? In such cases, you will have to explicitly install all the dependencies and Google Cloud connectors and all those stuff. But in case of Apache Beam notebooks, right, you don't have to do that. It is already coming with all these dependencies installed, pre-installed. Okay, and also whenever you provision or create this Apache Beam notebooks through our Dataflow console, right? So once it is available for us to use, right, you can see there are other notebooks already available where you have some examples, right, like word count and other streaming examples, and also some tutorials how to use. This is one of the greatest or cool features where someone who is not much aware of how to develop pipelines and how to use them, right, you can definitely go through these notebooks and you can learn those concepts, right? So in the demo we will see, right, we'll go to the Google Cloud Console page and Dataflow section. There's a section called workbench. So there, once you click on that workbench, then you can see to create this notebook, Apache Beam notebook. We'll create that Apache Beam notebook, right? Once it is available, then we'll start writing our pipelines and we'll start developing our pipelines in iterative manner, right? So we'll quickly go to the demo and we'll see them one by one, right? Okay, let us go to our Google Console page. So right now I'm in my Google Console page. Okay, so we'll have to go to Dataflow page, right? Here this is the section workbench. You click on that. Now you can see it's a Vertex workbench notebook environment. So here you can see user managed notebooks. Now if you click on this create notebook or new notebook section, this will open up one window. Always select Apache Beam. So I'm using Python for Dataflow. Click on that. Here there are two options available. Always go without GPU. We'll talk about this option later, right? This is for GPUs. So for our demo, I would like to use without GPU. Click on that. So it will pop up one window. Go to the advanced section. So let me select the region, right? I am selecting US Central 1 and this is the zone. So you can select your nearest region. So when I'm doing this first time, right, so I got error. Actually I selected nearest region like Asia South 1, that is Mumbai, but due to resource unavailability, it was not able to create that notebook. That's why I just selected this US Central one. This is popular zone, popular region, and this is a zone. So I am expecting at least one resource is available for us to create this notebook, right? Because it's a, I guess it's one of the biggest region and very popularly used zones, right? So environment is Apache Beam, right? So here, so anyway it is for demo purpose. Let me select the least one, right? This is with 3.75 GB, 1 CPU, and whenever you select this, right, here you can see monthly estimate of that particular VM, right? So always better to select the minimum one. If you use the intermediate or maximum, so this price will be changed, right? But anyway it is for demo purpose. Yeah, I'm using that. GPU none. So let me click on create, right? Okay, now it will take some time to create this notebook. Okay, once it is available, then we'll explore that environment. Okay, yeah. See, even I got the same error. It says creating notebook beam. This one is does not have enough resources. In such cases, we'll have to select the different region and zone, right? So let me do that again. Same thing. Let me select US West. Let it be. Have the advanced option to select this machine type, right? So I always wanted to have N1 standard one, so that it's a minimum configuration that we have to save our cost, right? Let us wait. I think it will take some time. If we get the same error again, we'll have to choose a different region and zone till it creates that manage notebook successfully. Okay, created successfully, right? So it is available in US West region and in B zone. Okay, now you can see this hyperlink in blue color. So now we have this notebook enabled. Click on this notebook, it will open a page Jupyter notebook environment. So it is coming with Apache Beam and all other Google Cloud related connectors and libraries installed in it. You don't have to explicitly install any other libraries, right? So it will open up. It will take some time. Now, yeah. Okay, you can see, as I already discussed, right? So there are some examples. Just explore this. You can see there are many examples like word count, some streaming pipelines. So we'll explore them one by one in later videos, right? But in this video, I would like to develop a pipeline iteratively in phases, and then I'll try to test it using interactive runner. Later, I'll try to deploy the same pipeline into Dataflow. All right. Okay. So in the tutorial section, we have all the concept like which are related to Apache Beam. What are the IO operations, element-based operations. I would like to do series of videos, right, on all these concepts. Okay. We will use this Apache Beam notebook only for that. Okay. So now let me go back. Right. So now let me select Apache Beam package or library. So libraries or modules. So let me select the latest one. So it has opened a notebook, right? Let me rename this notebook. All right. So this one, batch pipeline demo. Okay. Right, now you can see there is a cell already created. So like this, you can create multiple cells to run your code, and also you can mark down. If you select markdown, you can write some text. This is a demo code for Apache Beam pipeline. Right, now insert one more. Right, so now I would like to demo a use case where, so I will try to read some text file which is available in a GCS bucket. Okay, so it's a text file, it's a plain text file. It is having some story which is related to some epic Mahabharata, it seems, right? So I'll read that text into my Dataflow or Apache Beam pipeline. Okay, then I'll parse that text. So I'll divide that each line of that text into words, right? I'll split that line into words, and then once I have the words, I'll try to filter those words. So I'll filter only few words, actually few names, few character names from that epic, and then I'll try to count that word, at how many times it has been repeated in that text. Then I'll try to write that output into GCS bucket again. So this is my use case. So I'll develop that code in iterative manner, right? So for that I've already written that code. Let me go through that code, right? This is that code, right? So you can see it looks bit lengthy, but it's very easy, right, to understand. So in the first place, I have all the import statements where I have all the Apache Beam related packages or modules, right? Just concentrate on this particular thing. So this is the runner we are using for testing our pipeline in iterative manner, in stages or in phases, right? Once our pipeline is running as per our expectation, then we'll try to deploy this pipeline into Dataflow from the notebook itself. You don't have to go to any other place to deploy that. From the notebook itself there is a provision. You can deploy this code into Dataflow and you can run this pipeline, right? This is the runner we are using. And also Interactive Beam. This is useful to visualize your data, or else to print your P collection information or data. These are the two new things added, right? So we'll see them in detail, right, while we are working with them. Okay, so this is import section. Let me copy this code and put them in a cell. Okay, so I mean this video gonna bit lengthy because we'll have to discuss so many concepts, right? So it's going to take some time. Okay, now we have this. Okay, just try to run this. Okay, this has been successfully run. Now what we'll do, this is markdown. Here we'll define our pipeline, right? So based on the code itself, we'll try to comment it out, right? This is a Purdue for splitting our lines which are available in our text. Once we read that text right into our P collection, right, what we'll use a Purdue transformation to split those lines into words, right? Purdue means parallelly do. What it will do, basically in order to perform it on a parallel manner, right? So you will have to use Purdue in Apache Beam pipeline. So we'll use that concept. So in the interactive runner, anyway it's going to be a single mission. We don't get much benefit by using Purdue, but anyway you are going to deploy this into Dataflow, then it will be very much useful, right? It will parallelly perform this particular operation on multiple worker nodes. Okay, so it's a simple task. It will just read that line and split that into words. This is that, right? Let me run this in a different cell. Okay, let me mark down this. Right, now add one more cell to add this code. Okay, right, just run this. Okay, now I don't see any output over here. What we can do, once we read the data into P collection, then we'll try to use this particular feature, Interactive Beam, to show our data and also to visualize our data. Okay, now we'll go back to the code. Here it is the main pipeline. Just try to understand this pipeline. Simply I am reading this file from Google storage bucket. So let me go to that bucket, right? So let me go to Google Cloud Storage bucket. Okay, there we have different folders available Okay, you can see there are two folders available, data flow and input. So this will store our input data which we are feeding into pipeline. This is the file I have. Okay, just click on this. So this is a plain text file, it has this much data, right? I am trying to split each line and making this into words, and then I'll filter those words based on certain criteria. Okay, so yeah, and come back to your bucket and click on this data flow folder. So these are the different folders we have. We are trying to write our output which is coming from the pipeline into output folder, and these are the two other folders, staging and temp, which will be used by data flow internally. So while processing our pipe workload, right, it will write some intermediate data or staging data or temporary data into these two folders. We will have to specify even staging and temporary folder while you are running your pipeline and data flow. So that's why I've created these two folders. Okay, now go back to our code right here. So try to understand this code. Once I read this file, this data into my P collection, that is P, then using Pardon, I am splitting that entire text file, each line into words, right? So that is what I am using, Pardon. This one, this is available here, text process, right? This is the Pardon transformation, right? So once we have those words, I am trying to filter those words based on this criteria. So I want only the character names which are available in that text. So I have just taken few examples, the main characters from that epic, and I am just filtering those words based on this criteria. Filter, I am writing a lambda function where I will try to filter that particular word. If it is there in this particular list, matching with this particular list, then filter, otherwise no, right? Once I have those words, limited words, then I am trying to count those words per element. So this will group by that word and then it will count. That's it. Now once I have those, I will try to write those at that output into GCS bucket here. Okay, I will discuss this when I am trying to deploy our pipeline into data flow. Right now, let me copy this main pipeline into one more cell in our notebook. Right, so let me go to notebook. It's a markdown. This is main pipeline. Right, one more cell. Okay, now I have this. Right, let me execute this. Right, it has been executed. Now go back to our code. Right, now what we can see, now I would like to see the output coming into each and every P collection. This is one P collection, this is one more 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 P collection, because each and every stage you will have to test it, right? If it is not coming as per your expected output, you will have to modify the code, right? For that I'll have to use IB show. IB show means IB is this interactive beam. So show is a method to show the content of the P collection, right? So let me copy this. It's a markdown. Yes, include one more cell and one more cell. Now try to run this. All right. Right, now we'll try to, we have already executed cell one by one, right? Whenever we have created it, we have executed one by one. Now you can see it will output, see, lines. This is the first thing, right? In this is one P collection where we are reading lines of that text into this P collection. You can see, so it will usually print top 10 rows. So if you go to the next, so you can see each and every line. So now we'll try to see the second P collection. What's it? Now we should see splitted words, right? So by using Purdue, we are splitting the words, right? You can see words now have been splitted, right? In the next stage or next step, we are filtering those words based on this criteria, right? So we want only these words from that old word list, right? So I'm using this filter transformation for that. So if I copy this over here, try to examine the value whether it is giving the appropriate values or not. Okay, you can see now we have only those words coming up. Now I would like to count these words based on the key or element. So it will group by this and then it will just count. Okay, now let me try to take the final, print the final output. Okay, so you can see this is the final output which we are going to write it into a GCS bucket or GCS folder. Okay, right? Now let's go back to our code. Now you have seen your output is coming as per your expectation. Now we have developed our code in iterative or in iterative manner. Now it's ready to deploy into Dataflow, right? So for that, what we can do, first of all, you need to set the option, pipeline option, to run this pipeline on Dataflow. So these are the few options you have to set before running this into Dataflow. The first option is flags. We are not using any separate or special flags. The second one is project. You have to assign the project. So this is the code where it is trying to assign the default project value. Already we are into our GCP data engineering project. It will just read the data and assign that value to this project variable or argument. Then region, in which region you would like to run this pipeline. So I would like to use US East or anything, but anyway we have this value, let it be. The next thing, you will have to specify the GCS bucket location, because Dataflow will write its internal or temporary files into a GCS bucket path, right? For that anyway you will have to specify the GCS bucket path. And also we are reading input data from the GCS, and also we are trying to write output data into GCS bucket. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so here I am specifying the staging path and also temporary path, right? I've already shown those folders, right? Now I would like to write our output into this path. So it would look like this output, something like this. Okay, so anyway I have this main bucket path, just appending these folder names over there by using this functionality. Okay, now let me copy all this into one more separate cell into Jupyter Notebook. Okay, let me clear all the outputs. Okay, this is markdown. Set pipeline options. Okay, then add one more cell and run this. Now I have set my pipeline option, right? Now I will have to add this code, because we have to write our final output, okay, into our GCS bucket, right? Let me add this. Okay, so we'll mark down. Output. Okay, so add one more cell. Okay, now you can see I'm just writing that name counts here, this output into my GCS bucket, this file. So it is available in output folder, and this is the file name, right? So let me also run this code right now. So now before deploying this pipeline into our Dataflow, we need to visualize this pipeline. So how this graph look like, right? There any unnecessary transformation added, or any unnecessary operation is added, right? So in order to make sure this is correct, that graph looks fine, we need to visualize that graph, right? For that we have this particular command, right? IB again, it is interactive beam. We are using show graph. P is our pipeline, right? So show graph, it's a markdown. Okay, add one more cell. Now run this. Now it will visualize your graph. You can see it's reading the data from our text file, putting the data into lines P collection, get words, splitting that words, this is right, it's a transformation, and then again writing that into words, then filtering is a one more transformation, again writing that into filter names, right? So then so our final P collection. Okay, so right, we are grouping and counting, then putting it into final P collection, then we are writing the P collection results into our Google Cloud storage. It looks fine, right? We don't see any unwanted operations added, right? So now let me try to run that pipeline and data flow from this notebook itself. Okay, let us go to the code. For that we will have to use these two codes or code parts, right? So let me copy, let us mark down, run this pipeline and data flow, right? This is a markdown. Let me add one more code, now paste it. Okay, so once you run this but first code, right, so it will run that pipeline using data flow runner and data flow environment. So this is one more command where we are asking this process to wait till it finish. Okay, so it's up to you. It's better to use wait till finish. Okay, so here in the options you can see I've set all the options required to run this in data flow, like staging environment, temporary environment in a Google Cloud storage, and also flags, required flags, and also output path, input path, right? But while running this pipeline and data flow runner, you will have to specify data flow runner, right? Once I run this, then there will be a job created in a data flow environment. Okay, let me run this, it should create a job. Now it is running. Now let's go to data flow jobs, right? Refresh, you can see there is one job created, right? Let us go to this job. This will open up that job details page. This again, it's a usual process, right? You will have to monitor this job till it completes. Okay, the right side of the panel, it will show the job information like job name, job ID, right? So where it is running, right, in US East region, right, and US East C zone, right, and Google Data Flow notebook, we have launched this job through this, right, and that machine types it is been using. Okay, Apache Beam SDK, right? It will take some time. So once this is completed, then you should see some output over here. Okay, here. So we'll wait till that time and then we'll examine our output. Job is getting completed, so last stage is pending. You can see the green, dark green color highlighted and each and every step. That means this particular stage got completed. Now we are waiting for the final stage to be completed. Once it got see, now this has been completed. Now go to our GCS bucket, refresh, right? Now you can see our output. Okay, so click on this file, just try to see it contents. Now you should see our expected output. This has been, the names have been counted, right? So you can see. So this is how you can use our Apache Beam notebook or Jupyter notebook to iteratively develop our Apache Beam pipelines, and you can test them there itself, right, in phases in iterative manner, and also you can deploy the same pipeline into Google Cloud Data Flow. Okay, so and also see so how nicely you can test each and every step, right? So it looks bit lengthy, but it's very much helpful, right, whenever you would like to develop complex pipelines. So especially it will be very difficult to debug in case of if if you are not getting the expected output, right, you will have to again open up the code and you will have to go each and every line, and you especially that data visualization is not that much useful in case if you use, right, our traditional options available like Cloud Shell or third party editors, right. But here, right, so you can easily visualize and show intermediate data in upcoming videos. So we'll see each of these concepts, right, especially Apache Beam concepts, transformations, right, and related concepts in detail, right, in series of videos. Thank you very much for your support.